Hi, this is Paul Rose, and this is part 2 of the story of Homework. I think I'll play now a track off Homework which wasn't released on the original cassette version of this. Let me think now, perhaps, yes, Over a Kosher Butcher. I'll play Over a Kosher Butcher. I really liked this track when I did it, and I still like it, and I regret not putting it on the original release, listening back to it. The reason it's called Over a Kosher Butcher, when I was living with my first wife, we lived in Gateshead, south of the River Tyne, over from Newcastle upon Tyne. Don't know if any of you in the world know where that is, but there's a huge practicing Jewish community there, and we were renting the flat above a kosher butcher. And this material, as part of Homework, other parts of Homework were done on a Porter studio with a Yamaha drum machine. Can't remember what it was, RX, X something. Yamaha always have to have an X in everything that they make. Digital drum machine, 4-track Porter studio, lots of bouncing, recording the drums and a synth bass to 2 tracks, and then bouncing the one side of the... So you got the drums and the bass on tracks 1 and 2 in stereo, and then I would bounce one side of that stereo mixer, track 2 to track 4, as I recorded a rhythm guitar onto track 4. So on track 4 I would have the left side of the drums, the left side of the bass, and one rhythm guitar which would be panned to the left to keep the drum machine separate, and then I would have track 2 and 3 to put more guitars on, double track the rhythm part that I just bounced with the drum machine onto track 2, and then track 3 I put the lead guitar on. So the quality isn't as good as the 8-track reel-to-reel stuff, but it doesn't matter, because it really is just creativity for the sake of for creating music's sake. And so this one's called Over a Kosher Butcher. Another thing that should be mentioned is the vocals that Willie Duggan did on this cassette album on Winter Break, and also Call Me the Breeze, and with the new release, Just My Imagination. I remember when we did Winter Break, Willie held the microphone so far away from his face, and I had to have the microphone level extremely loud, but we managed to get through with that alright.
It is very big. It keeps on spinning so very fast.
Singing on Just My Imagination, which I won't be including in this podcast for legal reasons, is sensational. It's absolutely fantastic, full of emotion, which was Willie Duggan all over. Willie, wherever you are, well done, mate. was being managed at the time by a guy who will remain nameless, who I believe is dead. Anyway, so he was driving up to Newcastle. I was doing a gig in Newcastle for Marshall, Mr. Jim Marshall, who makes the amplifiers, and he was driving to Newcastle with another guy who I believe is also dead. Neither of these guys may be dead, but let's pretend that they are. It was very rock and roll, and they were driving to Newcastle, and they were both chronic drug addicts, cocaine users, which I'm very fortunate to be able to say I wasn't, particularly in my debauched days. But they stopped off at, I think it was Watford Gap Services they stopped off at, and they had a line of Charlie for the drive up, for the long drive up the A1 overnight, and they got to Scotch Corner Services, which is about 40 miles south of Newcastle upon Tyne, to have another line of Charlie, because they were about to arrive in Newcastle, and the guy couldn't find the Charlie, and he, in his drug-addled way, the only place the cocaine could be was back in the service station down at Watford Gap, which was 4.5 hours south. So they get off at the roundabout at Scotch Corner, and they go on the southbound side of the A1, and they drive all the way back for 4.5 hours to Watford Gap Services. And they get there, and he finds the cocaine was actually in his pocket all the time. So they're back to where they started. They have another line of Charlie, and they drive back to Newcastle. And I was very frightened in that situation. I wasn't happy at all. But anyway, that was where homework got me. Okay, let's have another track from this album rather. And I think this time another unreleased one from the original version, and this one's called Chinese Massage. Now, the reason I called that Chinese massage was there's a bit with speeded up hand claps. So just tap that on my knee, and I thought it sounded like somebody getting a massage, kinky massage in a Chinese massage parlour. So that's where the title came from. I think that the track Telly, which was released on the first Homework, and there's another version of Telly, Pt.2, on this new release. And the interesting story behind that one, I went to Los Angeles with Thomas McLaughlin from Newcastle, and we stayed in this hotel in Hollywood, and Telly Savalas lived in this hotel, and absolutely, completely and utterly bizarre. We went into the bar for drinkies, and Telly Savalas was sitting at the fucking bar, and what can you say to that? I watched Kojak when I was a kid, and I was totally and utterly astounded. Never expected that to ever meet Telly Savalas, and I was messing about with a couple of these tracks, and they were sort of funky 70s sort of things, and I called them Telly 1 and Telly 2, named after Telly Savalas, ladies and gentlemen. So homework here, we put it out on cassette, 250 copies initially, sold them for £5. And they all went, and I got some stuff. I believe some of it was being looked at the Institute of Guitar Technology in Los Angeles. America, a track called America was being studied at the Institute of Technology in Los Angeles. So let's play America. That was supposed to be sort of a tongue-in-cheek take on the state of the electric guitar in those days. It's just since got worse, in my opinion. So anyway, I don't really think I've got a lot more to say about this album. It's available at my website if anybody wants to buy it. And if you've enjoyed listening to this, please subscribe to my podcasts. There are 6 more albums to come, and we will break them down and talk about them and put some tracks on. And wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good night. And thanks for listening. Bye.